Will you guess what's exactly in the glass? Is it beer, a lager beer, juice, coffee? It will be hard to identify it correctly. If the photo is in color, it will be easier to identify. It is actually a matcha beer, but when we strip the color, we no longer recognize, we just interpret. We make a guess, we freely imagine. We begin to see that black and white doesn't just simplify the world, it distorts it, but in a way that invites us in, asks more of us, and shows us something we didn't know we would need to see or even feel. It's unsettling at first, this loss of visual certainty. But with time, it becomes oddly freeing, because when we strip the colors, reality loosens its grip. Things begin to feel less literal and more emotional. There was a time I couldn't understand why anyone would still choose black and white. It felt like a downgrade, a nostalgic nod to something color had already improved. Why would we strip the world of its richness? But when I returned to photography after years away from it, now I found myself quietly drawn to it, not out of artistry or knowledge, but because it felt easier, more forgiving. Even my mistakes somehow looked better in monochrome. As an amateur, someone who simply enjoys pressing the shutter and being surprised by what comes out, I found that black and white had a way of making my photos feel pleasing, regardless of technical accuracy. The colors couldn't clash because they weren't there to begin with. Skin tones didn't look unnatural. Overexposed skies didn't scream for attention. Everything was simpler, quieter, and yet somehow more powerful, more impactful. It's tempting to think of black and white as a limitation, but it might be more accurate to call it a refinement. It removes distraction. It leaves behind the essential. And in doing so, it gives us a different kind of richness, not in hue, but in clarity and ambiguity at the same time. There's a line I keep returning to. There's more color in black and white. Not literal color, of course, but more imagination, more interpretation, more room for us, on the viewers, to bring our own meaning to what we see. And it is the mystery that we love and keep on chasing. In black and white, light becomes the protagonist. Without color to grab the eye, we begin to notice how light falls, how it bends around objects, how it defines shape and space. We begin to see not just the thing photographed, but the quiet drama of its presence in the world. A figure on a sidewalk is no longer just a person. It's a suggestion, an impression. The grain that would seem distracting in color, that digital noise or film texture, becomes something beautiful in black and white. It adds depth, not confusion. It feels lived in, like a memory. We don't question its imperfections. We welcome them. They remind us that the moment wasn't manufactured. It was raw and it was real. What's even more surprising is how black and white shifts our expectations about exposure. In color, an image that's too dark or too light often feels unusable. In black and white, these same miscalculations become artistic choices. A slightly underexposed image might feel moody, cinematic. An overexposed one can glow with softness and light. It's as if black and white has already forgiven your errors and turned them into air. Shadows too behave differently. They're no longer obstacles to seeing. They become characters in the image. They introduce mystery. They invite questions. They suggest that there's more beyond what is immediately visible. It creates more mystery in what we don't or can't see. I just want to go back to the glass in question photo. In the image, no one could tell what it really is. People might guess anything, and they will base their guesses on their experience, knowledge of the world, and even what they feel at the time of looking at the photo. And there is no right or wrong answer. In black and white, the truth doesn't matter. The picture becomes a vessel for interpretation. Sure, color would have settled the question, but with just black and white, the imagination stayed alive. It became a conversation, not a conclusion. This mystery is what I've come to love most about black and white. It leaves space. Space for mystery. Space for feeling. Space for things to be unresolved. It's a perfect reflection of the current state of our world, full of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And that ambiguity can be oddly comforting, because photography, at least the kind many of us amateurs pursue, is not always about getting it right. It's about noticing, pausing, seeing something ordinary, and realizing it isn't. Black and white helps with that. It gently lowers the volume of the world so we can hear something quieter inside ourselves. It removes drama, yet introduces emotion. It strips away color, but reveals tone, contrast, mood. It simplifies, yet somehow enriches. In black and white, the world doesn't lose its meaning, because it gains a new one. And perhaps that's why it continues to survive, long after color took over. Because it does what all good art does. It shows us not what the artist intends to say, but shows us what we think and feel, and allows us to discover ourselves. And so, the irony remains. The most colorful images I've ever taken had no color at all. If this video spoke to you in some way, or if you've had your own experience with black and white, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you'd like to hear more of these quiet reflections about photography, creativity, and life, feel free to subscribe. No pressure. I'll be here either way. Thanks for watching.